What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. I'm Doug Kyed, joined as always by Michael Hurley. We are a proud member of the CLNS Media Network. Make sure to hit subscribe on Pat's Chat, Patriots Press Pass, all of the great CLNS channels, and turn on notifications for when a new video drops on the channel. Michael's moving around his camera. Michael, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, Doug. Today is Friday of Super Bowl week. Thank goodness.
We've only got a week and 2 days before the game.
They should just add another week just to break it up. But no, very much excited for the game. But I think unfortunately, just to show prep live, we're going to have to talk more about an MVP vote than I think we ever planned or wanted to. But it's kind of necessary for what we're doing today, which is unfortunate. But I think that's where we gotta spend a lot of time today.
Should we start with that, or should we start with a little surprise?
I would start with the surprise, but also let's promise we're not doing an MVP podcast episode, but we've got to we'll do football stuff.
Yeah, we'll do a ton of Super Bowl and everything like that, but we'll do MVP after our little surprise. So
big surprise, celebrity encounter.
I am live from Radio Row right now, and fortunately, I ran into some friends who I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a lap before I do Pat's Chat, and on that lap, I ran into the biggest celebrity, the biggest Pat's Chat celebrity you could possibly have, because Michael, before we throw the clip, instead of ups and downs, what do we do on this podcast?
We do booms and we do dooms.
Mm-hmm. And why do we do booms and dooms?
Well, I didn't
should we say, or should we just show the clip?
Just show the clip. Just run.
All right, Bailey, can you run the clip?
Hey, it's Big Boom AJ right here at the Super Bowl, and Pat's Chat gets 5 big booms. Boom, 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 boom.
Unbelievable.
Big AJ.
Oh my God.
Live at the Super Bowl. I didn't
huge.
get Big Justice in there. I didn't get the rest of the family. Thought it'd be weird to ask a 12-year-old child to do a clip for Pat's Chat, but yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't charge you for that.
I know.
That cost cashola on Cameo. You got
it's true. Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I was a little nervous. He was gonna be like, yeah, but can you slip me a 20 or something?
Yeah. Or
I also did tell him. I told him that I do a podcast, and instead of ups and downs, we do booms and dooms, and he was pretty psyched about it.
Nice. I'm not fully comfortable that we won't receive a cease and desist letter.
I know. I might have screwed us on that one.
But if we go down swinging, it'll be quite the story. But yeah, that one, you sent it to me. I don't know if I've ever emoted in text more than I did in that, because I wasn't ready for it. You're ready. You're walking around. You've got like Emmitt Smith. You've got like Jerry Rice. You got Joe Montana. You've got all these great players. And then boom, the best of them all.
The Costco guys.
AJ or Big Justice, who's famous for saying double
chunk chocolate cookie.
Even though it's technically a double chocolate chunk cookie.
Yes.
But it's become a thing. So yeah, this is huge for the brand. We're going to find a way to integrate this into all of our imaging going forward. This is huge for us.
Yeah. I might actually just replace you as a co-host.
That's fine. Was it awkward when he starts doing the booms, and it just like, it's kind of like, it's only a few seconds, but it feels,
I miscounted. Yeah.
It feels really long.
Yeah, it did. Because I asked him to do 3 and he did 5. I was like, whoa, this is going to take a while.
I think one big boom would have been sufficient. So to get 5 is a lot, but it's also kind of like he's still doing the boom. It's a little awkward.
Boom, boom. Yeah,
but
so that was great.
What again?
Drake May did not win MVP. He finished 1 vote shy of the MVP, Matthew Stafford, and what was it, 4 or 5 total points?
5 total points. 5 total points, and the voting was 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. I want to say for your first, second.
So if he had got another first place vote, he would have won.
He would have tied unless it was a vote taken away from Matthew Stafford, because surely no one would give a first place vote to anyone other than Stafford or May, right?
Well, we've got some news for you. So,
well, can I start with this, because we're going to get into I want to start from a foundation, and this might not jibe well with Pat's Chat, but I just want to be forthcoming about it. I think it's kind of cool that Matt Stafford won MVP.
Interesting. Wow.
I don't know. I wouldn't have voted for him. I would have voted for Drake May. I think Drake May was the better football player this year. But I don't know when there was a memo, I guess, that went out that if you're in New England, you have to hate Matthew Stafford. I must have been out of the office that day.
Right.
And I know we can use the word counting stats as a pejorative, We're like, oh, if you look at the counting stats, but it's like,
Right.
I mean, if it was easy to throw, what do you throw? 41 touchdowns
Yeah.
and lead the league in passing. If it was easy to do that, then like everyone would do it. So I
Right.
would have voted for Drake May, but to see like Stafford up there with his kids and stuff, like if that made you upset, you're upset at the wrong thing, I think.
Right. Yeah. It's not Matthew Stafford's fault that he had a really good season with the Rams this year.
Yeah,
That's 100%. And I'll also say that I will typically lean into the advanced stats more than the counting stats in general. And I was actually having a conversation about this with one of my friends yesterday because I was talking to her about the NFL MVP, but then also we were talking about the MLB MVP, where it was like, oh, I want Cal Raleigh to win because I'm a Mariners fan. But like in any other situation, I would have been like, well, of course Aaron Judge deserves it. He's got like a award that's like 2 points higher.
Yeah.
But and in this case, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, Drake May had the better advanced stats.
Yeah, it's like like I said, if I had a vote, which I don't, even though apparently you can have one if you just have a podcast. Like that's the standard. If you're a podcaster, you can have an MVP vote.
That is true.
NFL, hello. I would have voted for Drake May. I found what he did impressive, et cetera, et cetera. But I can't sit here and be like a vote for Matthew Stafford was invalid. And I'm actually, I don't know about you. I did say on this podcast, I wish I remembered things I said. I was expecting something like a 30-20 first place vote. So
I was expecting it to be a blowout. I was shocked by how tight it was.
To see it 24-23 tells you that, Drake May made a bigger impression on more people than I think a lot of us thought he might. Like we kind of thought he deserved it, but wouldn't get it.
Right.
He came as close as you can get. I mean, that's unbelievable. 5 points away. I don't know what the standard was back when Manning and McNair tied and they got called. Right. Like if it was a strict tie or if it was close enough, they called it a tie. This is almost tie worthy, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, it basically was almost tie worthy. I think they probably would have had to finish with the exact same amount of points for it to be a tie.
Probably.
But yeah, there were other people who got votes. Josh Allen, what was Josh Allen? How many votes did he get?
2 first place votes, which we're going to spend a lot of time, I think, on the Justin Herbert vote because that's insane and far out of left field. But the Josh Allen ones, what are you thinking there? What are you thinking there where Josh Allen's the MVP of the league this year? That's a little, I wouldn't say eyebrow raising because it's way worse than that.
It almost feels like, and I'm not going to go through this process, but if you looked at the voters, I feel like you could probably pinpoint who voted for Josh Allen. And I haven't even done that yet.
Well,
but just it feels like that's just so glaring that it's probably obvious.
Am I missing something? Like, is Josh Allen's family involved
in the
I'm just
voting
saying process?
That, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's Bills writers involved. I don't know what it is, but like, it's probably, it feels out of left field that it was 2. I don't know. No, you're not missing anything. I think in most of these scenarios, it can become obvious who votes.
By the way, Peyton Manning and Steve McNair, they only used to have 1 vote back then. They each got 16. So it was probably a little easier to tie when you couldn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no, absolutely.
I think people are pissed.
How quaint it was back in the day.
I prefer it, to be honest with you, to say like, oh, this guy was the 5th most valuable player in the league. It's seriously, like, what's the point of that? I'm not sure, but everyone's pissed about the Justin Herbert vote from Sam Monson. Rightfully so. Insane vote. To give a first place vote to someone who doesn't even get enough votes to finish in the top 5.
Right. To not even be a finalist.
You've got to have the humility and acceptance to come forth and be like, you know what? My estimation was this. This was my reasoning. Clearly, I veered to an incorrect location. Clearly, what I thought was correct, the majority has informed me that it was too far out of bounds. Like, you've got to be able to do that. You can't come back and say F you to people that are mad at you for making a bad vote.
Right. And I'm friends with Sam. We worked at PFF together. Great guy. I like Sam a lot. I really also appreciate the fact that he immediately came out and owned it and was like, hey, I was the Justin Herbert vote. If I were in that scenario, and I don't want to give advice to anyone, if I would have been in that scenario, I would have sent that tweet and immediately hit that button that says mute notifications and then just like let it be for the rest of time.
Maybe
because it's one of those things where like arguing with anyone, is it like you're not going to convince them of anything?
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to delete the app for a day or 2 after that too. Maybe come back.
Like you could throw your phone in a river. Like there's a big bay.
Yeah.
To the east of us, west of us.
I'm gonna say east. The bay is on the east, the ocean's on the west. Either way,
Right.
Like people don't realize it when you're under fire on Twitter or whatever. Like,
Right.
it's just in that little box. Like you can just delete the app and then it's like go about
I know
your life.
it's hard to not look though, because
No,
I veered into politics a few weeks ago.
Nice.
And I tweeted and then muted the conversation because it was just like replying to anyone is not going to do anything. I'm not going to convince anyone otherwise. But then you do still kind of go back and be like, oh, I wonder what people are saying. But you're not bombarded with it. And another one that I actually didn't realize was after the whole catch dilemma, the whole catch debate, I tweeted out a quote tweet of Sam's podcast partner, C. Palazzolo, my long distant cousin, with a screenshot of Kayshon Boutte, where it looks like in a screenshot that he's caught the ball. And I was like, yes, but he did not catch this ball. And then I immediately muted that too, because I was like, I genuinely don't care what anyone has to say about this. Forgot about it for 2 days. And then I went back and looked and had 5 million impressions. I was like, whoa, a lot of people were replying to this one. So sometimes you do hit mute and just forget.
Yeah.
I think that might have been tough for Sam to do in that case, but no, that's the best advice I can always give. It's just mute it. Don't even bother arguing with anyone about it.
If you can't do better than like F you to someone who gets mad at you, then you should probably delete the app in the moment. But there's a quote from him that's come out. It was a video of him on the podcast. And the quote is literally this quote: "If the MVP were decided in sensible means, as opposed to storylines and stats, Justin Herbert would really have a strong MVP case." So like the words he used were like he would, but clearly he shouldn't. And tweets have come out in the past where this Sam's consideration, like it should go to the best player, not the most valuable. The word valuable is, and then all of a sudden it is. And I think the weirdest thing about this vote, and again, he did go on Zolak and Bertrand today and said he voted for Stafford number 2. So let's say Herbert's out.
All right. Yeah.
Stafford still wins.
Right.
Debate that all you want. I think it's fine. That part of it, not the Herbert part. Is the argument was like he overcame the bad offensive line and did yada yada yada. It's like, okay, he did that to be the 17th best quarterback in football.
Right. Yeah.
Are you arguing that like
Right.
like Matthew Stafford has done that probably 15 times in his career? I think Drake May probably did that last year as a rookie. Like it's not impressive to be the 17th best quarterback. And the fact that they made the playoffs, it's like, okay, they
it's respectable, but it's not MVP worthy. It's not
a great defense.
Worthy.
Like you throw the guy a bone, I guess, but I don't know. The 2 Josh Allen votes probably were more impactful than the Justin Herbert vote, given what happened. It's odd because last year the AP put out everyone's ballot 1 through 5, and you could see it. And it was a pretty controversial year because Lamar Jackson was better than Josh Allen, but didn't win. This year they were supposed to do that, according to Mike Florio. They said they were going to do that, and they just didn't. So I wonder.
Really? Is it too late to do it?
It's never too late to do it, but I wonder if Sam was like, "Oh, it's going to come out anyway. I might as well get out in front of it." But
interesting.
Knowing that they said they were going to do it and then didn't, I would probably have kept that to my vest. So credit to him for coming out on that part of it. I think the thought process was crazy, but ultimately, Doug, as we dealt with the Hall of Fame and various other things in our lives, humans are varied and flawed. Thus, voting involving humans tends to be varied and flawed.
Yeah. I like I said, I haven't seen Sam since this whole thing came out. But I would say this to him too. I thought it was humorous that for like 5 years he was the Tom Brady guy, because he wrote in 2014 that Tom Brady was no longer an elite top 5 quarterback. Yeah. And then but that went away at a certain point. People forgot about it. And
that was way dumber than voting for Justin Herbert, if you ask me. To write that after 2013 when Brady's thrown to Matthew Mulligan in the AFC Championship game.
Kembrell Tompkins.
When Gronk is hurt, you have rookie Aaron Dobson, and be like, Tom Brady, he sucks. It's like, well, I don't trust your value on this, but so that one. But much worse
now he'll be the Justin Herbert guy for 5 years, and then people will forget about that too. But he goes out on a limb. You got to say that. By the way, you said, "Throw me a bone." Did you say what was the phrase you used?
When?
I don't know. You said something about throwing a bone, throw me a bone.
Today?
You said yes in your last monologue. I wanted to say.
Oh, because you were on this crap offensive line. You were getting beat up. You played with the broken hand. That's cool. You get my 5th place MVP vote, man.
Throw him a bone.
Yeah.
So I want to give you an inside look into what I'm doing right now. I'm at Radio Row, and almost the entire time that you're speaking, I'm staring at a set of 107.7 The Bone.
Ooh.
And it just makes me laugh every single time I see it.
Are they
I love it so
playing,
much.
like country music in between?
So they
half
have
breaks?
they have bands on their banner, and some of these might trigger you.
Okay.
They've got Led Zeppelin, Metallica, Journey, The Who, Foo Fighters, Ozzy Osbourne, Pink Floyd, Pearl Jam, AC/DC, Queen. So it appears as though they're a classic rock. It says 107.7, The Bone rocks the Bay.
I'm on their website now. It's not an iHeart station, so I have no beef. But
Okay.
I love The Bone. There's
The Bone.
I'm just gonna share it because we're doing it. Remember a couple or maybe 3 summers ago, whenever it was, when Stranger Things made Metallica like pop stars?
Yeah.
Because they used Master of Puppets, and it was everywhere. Like it was on the radio again. Like it was probably top song on Spotify, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I was in Maine and I was going to pick up dinner, and I'm driving, and the guy comes on and he was like, yes, finally I get to do this. And he played a Metallica song on the radio in the summer of, call it 2022 or 23. Mm-hmm. Do you know what Metallica song he played?
Oh,
he was waiting his whole life. Like, I just want to play it. Why won't they let me? And he finally got his opportunity. It was
Ride the Lightning.
It was The Unforgiven 2. So you hear that like song? You hear that like, and you're like, oh, it's going to be The Unforgiven, and then it's just like, and you're like, wow, he's doing it.
Wow.
Anyways, MVP.
How long is that song? Like 10 minutes?
No, it's not as long. It's probably
not as long.
Probably 5.5. But it was it made me laugh out loud. You don't hear that on the radio too often in the 2020s.
But you might hear it on 107.7 The Bone.
You should request it. Yell it out. Anyways, I don't know, Doug. The story to me, I know people are pissed. I don't know what's lost in losing the MVP. I do feel wistful for the days when we never cared about who won the MVP. Like when Tom Brady would win the MVP, I don't think it even made the news. Right?
No,
so
it's true.
I get it.
It made newspapers, but I don't know if it was on like WHGH or anything.
Yeah, like it was like
breaking. Tom Brady wins MVP.
It just wasn't a factor. I know things are different, times are different, but I don't know. It seems to be an internet fight at all times. I don't know what it does other than maybe boost your Hall of Fame credentials, which
which you would hope that doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Wait. Drew Brees, correct me if I'm wrong, 0-time MVP?
Oh, I have no idea.
First ballot Hall of Fame.
Right. I mean, if you're among the 5 best quarterbacks in your era, then you're going to make it anyway. Yeah.
Drew Brees.
Now, quite honestly, it doesn't really do anything at all.
God. One All-Pro. How does that happen? Drew Brees is like number 2 on every pass.
That happens because he was playing at the same time as Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, but you'd think you'd get more than one. It's
almost impressive to win one in that era. I don't know.
True. Either way.
Not trying to play devil's advocate here, but yeah.
I think if you put forth a Hall of Fame career, it will show itself. I saw some people saying like Stafford's now a lock for Canton. I don't know. You can break down the numbers. Maybe he is. I don't know.
I think he probably is. I did want to bring up though that Ryan Clark was calling him a top 10 quarterback of all time. And it's just like, we don't have to be prisoners of the moment. Yeah.
Someone, who was it? Someone said he was top 5 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. That was Matt Leinart.
Yes, and immediately people were like, "No, he isn't."
Yeah,
and then he was like, "Yeah, but what about
who is?"
No, then he was like, "Yeah, what about like top 10 or the top 12?" It's like you just said top 5, Matt. But yeah, people
immediately. Yeah, I mean, this is interesting actually. Matthew Stafford, only a 3-time Pro Bowler.
Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler, so.
And one of them was this year, which doesn't count because Shedeur Sanders was a Pro Bowler this year.
Yeah, does that count when you look at the stats if you're a replacement or not? Because I know like Mac Jones had it in his contract, but because he was a replacement, you didn't get the boost. I don't know if you get the. You must, right? You show up, you get picked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only looking at Wikipedia right now.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford is a 1-time, 2-time, 3-time Pro Bowler. Mac Jones a 1-time Pro Bowler.
Okay, so it counts
I'm
if you're a
Drake
replacement.
May's in there too. Yeah,
that's not a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Look, if Matt Stafford goes into Canton, so be it. Like I don't know, and if Drake May has a great career, he'll go into Canton too, and people won't say, well, he only has X number of MVPs. Like these,
right?
There are other ways to impact the game. I think to me, the story is he had one fewer first place vote than the winner.
Yeah.
That's like I said,
for year 2, that's pretty damn good.
We thought it was more of a niche thing. You had to be in the weeds. You had to watch this team play at 1 o'clock against the Jets and the Dolphins. Enough people around the country watched him and said, damn, that kid is good. So I think if you want a silver lining in this whole fiasco, it's that. Like, the country now knows your guy is as good as you know he is.
Right. I think it was all of my MVP articles in the Boston Herald that convinced people personally, but might have been something else. Might have been his performance.
And also, remember when the season ended, I just did a sort of thought experiment, and I looked back at all the odd MVP oddity votings or voting situations over the years. Every year there's something weird. So this year, I don't think it's as weird as any of those. Like, Stafford led the league in touchdowns and passing yards. Yeah, he had better receivers, and he scored a lot of touchdowns from the one. I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's different reasons to vote for people, and Drake May was right there. A pretty impressive showing, and he's going to play again next year. I'm pretty sure he's not retiring, so he'll get another crack.
100%. Should we get into the game? Actually, let's briefly mention that Mike Vrabel won Coach of the Year.
Yep.
Josh McDaniels won Assistant Coach of the Year.
I was surprised. Well, Mike Vrabel, first of all. Mike Vrabel! I was surprised Ben Johnson only got one first place vote, because you and I talked Coach of the Year yesterday and forgot to mention Ben Johnson. I mentioned Liam Cohen.
Well, there's just so many people to mention.
I feel like the Bears turnaround was as surprising as the Patriots. Certainly the Jaguars. The Jaguars were more like they had the talent. They underperformed last year. Like, the Bears and the Patriots were sort of, what did the Bears have? 5 wins last year? So
Ben Johnson, listen, I'm not advocating for Ben Johnson to have won it over Mike Vrabel, but Ben Johnson essentially did the job that Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel did.
Yeah.
And only got one vote. Because, like, Josh McDaniels probably won Assistant Coach of the Year because of the job they did with Drake May.
Yeah.
And then Mike Vrabel won Coach of the Year because of the job they did with the team overall.
Yeah.
Whereas Ben Johnson, obviously, Caleb Williams wasn't an MVP candidate, so he didn't do as good of a job.
Well, then you could argue he did a better coaching job if he did it with a lesser quarterback.
True. That does play into his Coach of the Year.
I was just surprised that it was
case.
kind of a blowout. Vrabel had 302 voting points. Cohen was second with 239. They were only 3 first place votes apart, but clearly Vrabel got out of the second. And then Mike McDonald, pretty far behind with 191. With 8 first place votes, Shanahan with 6 first place votes, Johnson with 1. So it was kind of a blowout considering how close that was. I don't know how you gauge who's a better coach.
Right.
You vote on results, you know?
I don't think it necessarily needs to always be who turned their team around best, but that's a pretty good indicator of a good coaching job.
Of course. And it's why, like, whenever the debates happen, like, is Bill Belichick the best coach of all time? It's like, do I know he's a better coach than, like, George Halas or Don Shula? Like, what do we, like, how do I do that? I don't even know. So I think it's obviously the latest reminder, if there weren't enough, that, like, the Robert Kraft made the right decision, pull the trigger, do what he had to do. Coach of the Year, not the most important award. Kevin Stefanski's a 2-time winner, but I think you're fine with winning it. And the McDaniels one, it's funny because in a world where the second any coordinator has even a sliver of success, he becomes a head coach. Right. It's funny that you have the assistant coach of the year and you don't have to worry about that if you're the Patriots.
No, it is. It's pretty remarkable. Real quick question, and there's probably no way to answer this, but if Kraft had hired Vrabel in 2024 instead of 2025 and the Gerard Mayo era never happened, are the Patriots in the Super Bowl right now?
Hard to say. They probably win more than 4 games, so they probably don't have a last place schedule. What did they need to get 3rd place last year? I'm not sure. They probably don't.
I'm actually looking at it right now. 5-12, the Jets in 3rd place.
Probably looking at a 3rd place finish. You're probably better than that. You're not with the number 4 pick with Will Campbell. Who knows? I mean, but Vrabel clearly knows what he's doing.
Right.
I think Vrabel probably benefited from a year off too.
I think so too. I think Josh McDaniels did too. I wrote about that this week.
I know.
Yeah.
So I would say no, they probably wouldn't be. So things did kind of work out in that regard where
it was Kraft's plan all along. He knew they needed a real reset after Belichick.
The genius. And, we always thought Bill was the genius. It turns out Robert.
And he used Gerard Mayo as a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
Just 40 chess.
You know, there were a lot of people, especially in the media, that thought the McDaniels hiring was bad. And I was like, why would it be bad?
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
There was no like, and the only knock on him was like, well, he did this as a head coach and this as a coach. I was like, yep, not the head coach.
It's so interesting that he is such a better coordinator than a head coach. I forgot who. I think I was talking to Robert Mays about this, and he was like, it's funny that his just ideal job in the world, like one of the best in the world, is to be the New England Patriots, specifically the New England Patriots offensive coordinator. Like that's what he's best at. That's what he should just do for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I always point to Steve Spagnuolo, like
right,
a potential Hall of Fame defensive coordinator who had a shot. Now, granted, he was coaching the St. Louis Rams, so I'm not sure what kind of chance he had. But not everyone can be a head coach. Not everyone can be a coordinator.
Was Josh's OC in St. Louis?
Was that with Spagnuolo?
I don't know. 2011.
Yeah, this is funny. Who can Google it faster?
Me. It was Spagnuolo. That's interesting. That's so funny, actually, because I forgot who I was talking about this with. It might have been on here, but like, if Josh McDaniels and Steve Spagnuolo could just like be co-head coaches, one just coaches offense, one just coaches defense, you would think in theory that would create an incredible team, and that team went 2-14.
Yeah. No, it's obviously,
and I don't think that Josh was just like, hey, I'm the head coach of the offense, but still, that's funny to me.
Yeah, but either way, Patriots didn't get shut out. I know Henderson was never going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year,
right? But
his Madden highlights looked great. I don't know how much of the ceremony you got to catch.
None. I don't watch NFL honors. What are we doing here?
I told myself at like 6, I'm like, don't watch it, Mike. It's not going to be good. The jokes are going to be bad. It's going to be awkward. Don't watch it. And what did I do? Watch the whole damn thing. Watch the entire
How did
thing.
John Hamm do?
A little cheesy. Like he was talking about Josh Allen and he's like, oh, you got married last year to the great actress, Haley Steinfeld. And let me tell you, Josh, she's a great catch, but you already know that because you know when something is a catch and not everyone can see it that way or something like that. And I was like, good joke, John. Nailed it.
It's great. Really great.
No, it was tough.
Bills fans probably didn't like that one.
I think it was sympathetic to Bills fans, but no one really got it. It was a little clunky. Drewski decided to drop the N-word.
Yeah, that was
announcing Jackson Smith and Jigba, which I thought was pretty lousy. I didn't think that was good for the league.
Right.
The Hall of Famers came out, and I'll tell you this: when Roger Craig took the stage, I just felt like a dick. Am I like? Do I not want this? He's like 65 years old, dedicated his life to football, and it's like he shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. But I don't know. The other thought with the Hall of Fame was like, all of that hubbub. And it's like, well, I got to vote for LC Greenwood. I got to vote for Ken Anderson. Like,
right.
Clearly they're not Hall of Famers. Dumbasses.
Sorry. There's no reason to revisit it, but like when there's 5 candidates, 2 of them are Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, for only one to get in and for that person to be neither Bill Belichick nor Robert Kraft is crazy. Like just put like that, like, what are we doing here? And I don't know. Like, listen, I was alive during Roger Craig's career. I had a ton of Roger Craig cards. I was well aware of who Roger Craig was as a child and into an adulthood. And never once have I been like, it's insane that he's not a Hall of Famer, you know? But
it's fine.
He revolutionized the position by being a good pass catcher. But I don't know. He's not as it is what it is. There's no reason to relitigate it at this point.
It is what it is.
Good for you know what? My take, good for Roger Craig.
Right. Good. I mean, he's up there like crying on stage. I'm like, what were we? Have we lost our way? We're arguing against these nice men. But Bill Belichick was on the Pat McAfee show with the 4 modern Hall of Famers, and he took the high road today. And I think like the good PR keeps coming for Bill Belichick.
Interesting.
They did like a game show with Vinatieri. First of all, Vinatieri, Hall of Famer, overdue. Yep. Had to wait an extra year, whatever. Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly. Was that surprising? I feel like he was Hall of Fame talent. Hall of Fame talent, shortened career, but I
think he's a Hall of Famer. I think that when you watched him, you said to yourself that there's a Hall of Famer.
Right. And there's one more of the modern guys. Larry Fitz.
Breeze.
Drew Brees. I already mentioned him. Right. So they split him into teams and they were doing, they did phone a friend on the trivia game and they FaceTime Bill Belichick and he was like smiling and he's like complimentary, congratulatory and saying like, you guys are great. You guys were a thorn in my side. And it's like, man, you played it right, Bill. And then
it is actually kind of interesting because like if it were up to Bill Belichick, I think he would always say players deserve it more than coaches. So it's like somewhat fitting that happened to him, but he didn't deserve it. It's crazy still.
Yeah, no, I mean, coaches are in, as we talked about. Like,
right.
So
yeah,
if coaches are in, then the best coach should probably be in. But either way, Pat McAfee would be like, maybe next year you could, if you work harder or do something, you might be able to get up here too. So it was just another positive thing for Bill Belichick, who's just kind of thriving right now after a year where he was getting battered from all angles. So good for him.
Yep.
I think that exhausts all of my thoughts about awards. And I'm ready.
Do we need to talk about AJ and Big Justice more?
Oh, I wish, but I have some thoughts. Can I throw some preview content at you?
Sure, absolutely.
Are you ready for it?
I'm so ready for it.
I'm writing my next story for the Boston Sports Journal.
Oh yeah.
And so this is a little preview. So like these are the questions. If you subscribe, you can read it. It'll be more thought out. But I'm going to throw them at Doug and see what you think about them. These are questions I have for how the Super Bowl plays out. Number 1, can Jackson Smith and Jigba be contained? Not stopped, but contained. I don't know if you saw Carlton Davis's quote to Ty Dunn. I thought it was fake.
What did he say?
I'll tell you exactly what he said. He said,
Carlton Davis rocks, by the way. We should have all talked to him more this year.
Yeah, because I saw this tweet. I'm like, oh, clearly it's like parody. Clearly it's someone making a joke. But no, Ty Dunn, we know, does great work. Always has interesting stories. Talked to Carlton Davis. And was basically the question was, is this offense as explosive as the Chiefs when you face them in the Super Bowl? So the quote might come across as insulting to Seattle, but that's the frame. Quote, about Smith and Jigba, we're going to have Gonzo follow him.
Whoa.
Obviously, he'll motion, and I'll probably see him a couple times. But yeah, I don't think this team was as explosive as the Chiefs back in 2020. That Chiefs team was one of the greatest offenses ever, so I'm not going to compare the two. But the Seahawks do have a good offense. But like, we're going to have Gonzo follow him, and if he motions, I'll pick him up a few times. It's like, is that the real strategy? We just airing it out?
That's wild.
We just broadcasting it?
Wow. Did he know he was being recorded? Did he think he was talking to a Patriots coach?
Do you think it was like a fellow defensive
back? Are you Zach Core?
Yeah. So I
don't think you would confuse Tyler Dunn for a fellow Patriots defensive back. Maybe a coach.
No, but also
no offense to Tyler Dunn.
We're like 3 weeks late on congratulating Zach Core for bringing back the hat with the beanie over the top.
I know.
So bad job, us. But either way, biggest question to me, if you want to talk about the Super Bowl, it starts and ends with Jackson Smith and Jigba, because like outside of the Vikings who shut him down, in the Niners game when they didn't need to pass the ball to win 41-6, his lowest single game yardage total was 72.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I'm kind of surprised if that is the strategy that they choose, because they don't really shadow guys. They play a lot of zone. So maybe he's talking about specifically on like third down and critical passing situations that Gonzalez is going to do that. Because I actually wouldn't have been surprised if they had like doubled Jackson Smith and Jigba and then had Gonzalez follow a second guy, or not follow a second guy, but just kind of like cover a second guy. Yeah, take Kupp, take Rashid Shaheed.
Take whoever the DeMarcus Robinson of the Seahawks is. You never know.
Well, by the way, as long as you double JSN, that is an effective strategy.
You reported first the other day on Pat's chat that Keon White had some coverage against Jackson Smith and Jigba last year. Those videos have come out on Twitter since then. It's ridiculous. It looks like a glitch. Either way, but I'm with you. I don't think unless Gonzalez can do it, which I don't know that anyone can, but
I know. I don't think he's going to limit him to like 40 yards. If he does, he should probably be Super Bowl MVP.
I agree.
Which would be wild. If Christian Gonzalez records like 0 stats, but limits JSN, are voters smart enough to vote him MVP?
I don't trust anything that involves a vote, so I can't answer that question. But let me ask you this. It's sort of like the flip side of this question.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the worst matchup for Marcus Jones from a Patriots perspective? Because I just think, I assume they've worked on this since the Atlanta game, but remember they would just motion Drake London to a stack formation, and then all of a sudden Marcus Jones is on a 6'6" guy who's just catching everything over him. It's like, if it was that easy to get the matchup you want, it was like basketball. And it was like, you should have a better plan than that.
Like if they could somehow like get AJ Barner or Elijah Arroyo on Marcus Jones, but that doesn't seem like it's probably like a very likely scenario. Out of wide receivers, you won't like Jake Bobo was their tallest wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're really fearing Jake Bobo, but Cooper Kupp and JSN and Rashid Shaheed, they're all around the same height. They're all like 6 foot, 6'1". Not the worst matchups for Marcus Jones. Obviously, you prefer Marcus Jones to be against like a 5'10" guy, but Drake London is like 6'4", 230 pounds. That's just a terrible matchup for him. That doesn't really exist on this team outside of tight ends.
All right. Well,
Derek Young. Do you know how many catches Derek Young has this year?
150.
He has 2 catches for 48 yards this season. So he is 6'4", 6'2", 224.
Big boy.
Probably not an ideal matchup for Marcus Jones, but I also don't think you really fear him in this game.
All right. Well, then that's something to take off the table. I have another question. Another burning
Hell yeah.
question.
Keep going.
Can Kenneth Walker be a game breaker? And the reason I ask that is because we don't want to take for granted that the Patriots defense is going to just swallow up the opposing running back the way they have been, because despite Sam Darnold having a shaky history, he is a better passer right now than certainly Jarrett Stidham, and I believe playoff CJ Stroud, and I believe MVP Justin Herbert behind the worst offensive line in football.
Maybe I'm just being naive here, but I don't fear the Seahawks rushing attack. And I know that Kenneth Walker is a good player, but they ranked really low in success rate and EPA per play. Zach Charbonnet hurt, so now they've got George Hulani as Kenneth Walker's backup. I think Kenneth Walker is a big play threat, and I think that he's a good running back. But the Patriots' run defense has just been so good that I don't know. I like even his carries to the edge, like so to right end, he's only averaging 4 yards per carry. To left end 4.3, left tackle 2.7, right tackle 4.6. He's done better work rushing up the middle, where I don't think that like that's where you can't run the ball against the Patriots. You can run the ball to Caleb Von Chason. You can potentially run the ball against like Elijah Pond or some of the other edge guys. But when Tyrus Tonga and Corey Durden and Milton Williams and Christian Barmore and Leonard Taylor are all in there, it's really hard to carry the ball up the middle. So the fact that he's not necessarily a guy who's a game breaker off the edge plays the Patriots' advantage in this one.
I think if I were a voter, are you in the regular press box these days, or are you in the auxiliary?
I should be.
Now that you're
so, since I'm a what do they call ink stained dregs or something like that? Muckraker, whatever. Yeah, I believe I should be.
So maybe you get to vote on the MVP. You should find out about that. Yeah. I would outsmart everyone. I'd pull a Sam Monson, and I'd be like, if the Patriots win, I'd be like, did you guys see Anthony Jennings setting the edge like a rock? All those runs he funneled back inside. MVP Anthony Jennings. What do you think about that?
2 words: West over MVP.
Well, that leads us to the next question, Doug. And the question is, will an unlikely hero emerge? And from the Patriots side, nationally, I don't think people are saying look out for Kyle Williams on a deep shot. I think he is someone that would be a good choice to test Eamon Worry. If you can motion him to the slot, run maybe a double move, something deep, see how that ankle is. Like, he could be someone like we saw last week when teams dedicate resources to taking away booty, it can be done. Williams could be a surprise. Like, Chisholm was inactive in the AFC Championship game, so he's probably
not going to play. Yeah.
Well, and then on the other side, like a Jake Bobo, like we said, where you're just like, that guy has 2 catches for 73 yards and a touchdown. What?
Derek Young, another possibility. I don't know if he's going to be active, but there's not a lot of choices to make on this Patriots team, but I think that Kyle Williams would be an option. But no one else would really fit that bill. Like, Damari Douglas is well known enough. Matt Collins, all these guys are well known enough. Could be a defensive guy, like if Jack Gibbons makes an interception or Christian Ellis makes a big play or something like that. But you did remind me that the big game is almost here. I don't know if you know that. And there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into football action before next season. So close the season out right with PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. And I want to tell you guys about a little secret. There's a big game max discount. And this week, PrizePicks has a special max discount for the big game live in the app now. Drake May just needs 1 passing yard for the max discount to win. Just add another player to your lineup. And if your picks hit, you can cash in. I personally believe that Drake May will have more than 1 passing yard. And if you download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, that's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. We're not going to do another lineup because we've done a bunch. But Michael, do you believe that Drake May will have 1 passing yard?
I do. I don't want to jinx anything. I know people out there are very superstitious, but I do believe I will put my fist down on the table. Drake May will throw for at least a yard in this Super Bowl.
All right. What do you have a third question?
I have 2 more questions. It's 5 burning questions, Doug. All right. So
5. Oh
5.
God.
So here comes number 4. And these are questions that necessarily can't be answered until the game happens. So it's more of a discussion point. Can a defensive score change the game? And I think it's important to know, like, you certainly can't predict that. I remember the first Bill Belichick press conference I ever attended was in 2007. They were getting ready to play the
2007.
I was in college. I shadowed the great Mike Reese for a day because he's the
man.
Emailed out of the blue. We had a shadow professional journalist. Everyone was going to like the Bristol Bee or whatever the newspaper was in Rhode Island. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. Hey, Mike Reese, I'm a random kid. Can I shadow you?
Wow.
Guess what? He's like, sure.
That's crazy.
So I went in on like a Wednesday. They were preparing for the Eagles. Remember 2007? They played the Eagles on Sunday Night Football.
No, I don't.
The quarterback, he was not good, but he had a great game. It was the Patriots were like 8-0, 9-0 at that point.
Kevin Cobb?
Detmer?
Ty Detmer or Coy Detmer? Coy Detmer.
I think it was Coy Detmer.
Yeah.
And so I went to the Belichick press conference. Reese actually introduced me to Belichick after he like set it up.
God.
And it was the most awkward conversation of all time. The quarterback actually was AJ Feely, not Coy Detmer.
Okay.
But he did throw for 3 touchdowns, but also 3 picks. Either way, Reese had probably he worked it out. And Bill gave him a nod when he walked up, and Reese just goes, "That means he'll say hi to you after." And I was like, "Okay." And so he introduced us, and we were like, "Okay." But either way, that day, Bill Belichick talked about bonus points, and that's what he describes: defensive scores, special team scores.
Bonus.
Exactly. They're like big booms. So to me, when you're an underdog and a lot of the experts around the country are saying you're going to lose or get blown out, I have something on that for later. These are the things where if you're the favorite, things can go sideways on you.
Right.
And even if you are the favorite and you're not playing well, they can win the game for you like they did for the Patriots last week in Denver.
Yeah.
That's the thing where it's like, I didn't believe in the 0-1 Patriots that they had a chance to win that game until Ty Law scores. And then you're like, oh, there's a little something there. So that could happen either way. I think we love when Drake May is off stiff arming linebackers and trying to throw the ball. There could be a game-changing fumble that way. There could be a pick the other way. Sam Darnold not afraid to turn it over. So that's the thing where it's like all these predictions. I got this. I got that.
Right.
There's no way to know when that's going to happen and how big.
It's very true. And Seahawks have more interceptions on the season than the Patriots do. Ernest Jones actually leads them in interceptions. Don't know if you would have guessed that. Only 1 interception for a touchdown that was from Ernest Jones. I think that if there's the biggest touchdown threat on defense in this game would probably have to be Marcus Jones, right?
I think usually that's the case.
Just because of his ability to run with the ball in his hands. So I would give them the slight advantage in that, but
I think
and Sam Darnold's more prone to interceptions.
Yeah, and Drake may be more prone to fumbles, but I think the more I think about the matchup on the interior with Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, the more I think Seattle's going to have a problem there.
Right. Yes, I agree with that too. Both interior offensive lines are a potential problem, and both interior defensive lines are also a problem in the other direction because they're very good. Yeah.
Yes, I think Seattle is a bigger problem on the offensive line than the Patriots do, but we'll see.
Because Owenu is probably the best interior offensive lineman in this game.
He's like the 7th best player in this game overall.
That's true.
So I started with the most important question. I finished with the tied for the most important question, and this is the big one. Did Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels fix Drake May? Because I think if you go to that mic'd up footage, Drake May was down last week. He was pouting in a way, doubting himself, I
don't
think.
know if I would say pouting, but
It was just like, man, this is hard. And it's just like, yeah, man, it's the AFC Championship game in Denver.
Yeah.
And his play was suffering. I don't know what it was. I think a big charge of the head coach and the offensive coordinator and the quarterback's coach all the way down is to remind Drake May, like, you're really good.
Yeah.
And because they need him to be that guy Sunday. So when it comes to the most important question for what the Patriots can do, it's like, get Drake May back.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's possible that they have, but we haven't seen it in the playoffs yet. So that is a slight concern, I would say. But this is where I think a bye week and 2 weeks off helps a little bit. Maybe that resets them a little bit.
The nice air, the warm air out there.
The nice warm air. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a major factor, is that weather is not going to be a factor in this game, at least from what we've seen so far. It's supposed to be pretty warm. I think pretty mild climate out there. So, and he's gotten used to it. It's a really tough defense, but at least there's only one factor going against him in the defense and not something else like the weather in this game. So I don't know. What do you think?
I like their chances for much of like his demeanor. And I know we make too big of a deal of it, but he seems very comfortable.
Yeah.
Very calm out there in a way that even Darnold, who's been around much longer, doesn't. So I think he is sort of that. When he celebrated that first down run in Denver, I was like, that's the first time I've seen him emote anything.
Right.
Ever. And it was short. So like he is kind of the most calm, cool, collected guy that I can recall seeing. Like he's not overly hyped. He's not hyped at all. And I think if you just get back to letting him work in the pocket, give him a little bit of time, I think he'll be all right. But again, I mean, it's a Super Bowl. It's a hard thing to say confidently one way or the other. Like, oh, he's got it. This is a big deal. First reported by me.
You covered a lot of the stuff that I've got in my 10 things to watch in this game. But one thing that we touched on briefly, just talking about the interior defensive line, is how Sam Darnold will do against pressure in this game, because he's been pretty solid in the postseason under pressure. I went to PFF, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That alone, pretty good. But only 9 of 19 passing, 98 yards. So it seems like it might be a little bit of a fluke.
Well, they also didn't
during
pass
the regular
much
season
in the division round.
During the regular season, 52.1% completion percentage, 929 yards, 10 touchdowns, and then 8 of his 14 interceptions came against pressure. So I don't know if you just look at these 2 games where he throws 4 touchdowns, no interceptions against pressure, and say, like, he's a fixed man. It doesn't bother him anymore. He's going to be great. I think you've got to look at the much bigger sample size of his struggles and say it's still possibly a problem for him.
It's time for the dickhead rhetorical question routine.
Yeah.
Whom did the Seahawks play in the division round?
They played it's
the 49ers, Doug.
49ers.
Rhetorical question number 2. Whom did the Seahawks play in the NFC Championship game?
They played the Rams.
Which division are the 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks in?
NFC West.
So you're going for the 3rd time against these teams, and I think that's a factor. Like absolutely. You can mix things up, but ultimately you are what you are. And if you're a veteran quarterback with a good coach, like you can figure out ways to combat certain things. I like to think he is the body of work, which is a trouble spot for Seattle. I think I've heard a lot of people doing Radio Row interviews and whatnot say the quarterback situation is kind of a wash or comparable.
I know that feels crazy. That feels like
it's like,
once again, prisoners of the moment.
He had a bad AFC Championship game, a difficult divisional round in the rain against a great defense.
Yeah.
I think he was fine against the Chargers.
Right.
Where were Sam Darnold's MVP votes if they're the same quarterback?
Yeah.
It's very strange because Darnold had a great NFC Championship game that all of a sudden he's as good as Drake May. That's like saying Nick Foles is better than Tom Brady because of one night. Like you've got to assess that.
I know one person who might think that.
Nick Foles?
No, Scott Kaczmar.
That's true. But we don't talk about him on this show. But yeah, no, I think you can affect that. And especially, I've said it 100 times, I'll say it again. Interior pressure is so different.
It is, yeah.
You can't escape it. You can't, if you're not mobile, you're kind of screwed. And again, he's athletic, Sam Darnold is. Yeah. He can throw off platform, he can throw moving, but he's not running. He's not.
No.
I think Milton Williams can probably catch up to him no matter the situation. So that's where it all starts, the interior of the line. We are such big line guys. I'm gonna stick there all night.
It's true. If you factor in regular season and postseason, Drake May ranks 10th in PFF grade under pressure. and Sam Darnold ranks 20th. If you just look at passing, Drake May is 14th, and Sam Darnold is 16th. So still, one way or the other, Darnold does overall struggle against pressure, as most quarterbacks do, but ranks relatively low among NFL quarterbacks. I think that will do it until the Super Bowl. My plan for the Super Bowl is probably to record somewhere in Levi's Stadium after the game. I'm going to bring my microphone. The people at Levi's Stadium are going to look at it very closely and be like, what the hell is this? Why is it so heavy? And
I hope
it's a microphone.
I hope there's a Santa Clara Cynthia to call you handsome.
I hope so too. I might not be wearing a suit though. Well, I didn't even bring a suit, so I won't be wearing a suit.
Yeah, those days.
I brought a sports coat though.
I don't think I even really own a suit anymore. That was very.
Wow.
Yeah, I got jackets. I got pants.
Yeah, I got jackets. Yeah.
The only other thing I had 2 more things. Actually, 3 quick hitters on my agenda. For before you leave.
Yeah.
One, I haven't followed it closely. I've not watched any of his videos. Asante Samuel being a real weirdo. Like all of a sudden, Captain Patriot. It feels.
Well, I mean, clearly he just doesn't like Bill.
It just feels opportunistic for me because he's sort of spent the past 10 years like hating the Patriots.
Right.
So to be like, Brady sucks, I rule, is very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Bo Jackson apparently making the rounds on Radio Row. I didn't hear this, but apparently he's promoting, you know how they have to do their little spiels?
Yeah.
Like we talked about. Apparently he's doing like colon stuff.
Oh.
So not far off from buttwarts.com, which is
true. Very true.
Incredible work by us.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
And lastly, I saw this a week ago. I wish I could give credit. I saw it on Twitter. Someone who was like, unfortunately, this shirt goes very hard or something like that. And it's similar to last year or 2 years ago. You didn't like yes, sirs for the Pacers.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen C as in yes in Spanish? C, Hawks.
Oh.
That's a good one.
That's better. Yeah, I like that.
I like them both.
Yes, Hawks.
C, Hawks. It's a good one. So
that is good.
Thankfully, I was able to empty my notes with those ones. But yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, we will talk to you guys after the Super Bowl. Win, lose, or draw. Hopefully it's not a draw.
Can they do that? Ask Donovan McNabb. He's the rules expert when it comes to ties.
Imagine if they just kept playing for like 3 hours or like 3 overtimes, 4 overtimes. They're like, oh, you know what? You guys both win.
That happened Denver and was it Baltimore in the 2012 playoffs? 2011 playoffs? Remember they went Baltimore won like at the end of second overtime.
Yeah.
I think. I was begging for a third overtime, but we didn't get it. There was a pick. Peyton Manning threw a pick.
Well, as someone who will be writing on deadline, we're rooting for no overtimes in this game.
Oh, it's not about you, Doug.
It's only about me. All right, what is it about Andrew Callahan? Because he's right next to me.
No, it's not about it. I mean, I have no deadline, and I'd like to watch the longest game possible because when it ends, I can't watch a real football game until after Labor Day.
That is true. That is true. All right, well, we'll talk to you guys on Sunday. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.